just realized, okay, we get off to a good start. Probably gonna win the game. Super easy.
All right, so you're sticking with LFY?
Yeah, I do like the Arc Warden. That's one of their signature heroes, but yeah, I think SG just need a little bit more experience on lane. This is a good place to start.
All right, Jack, LFY or SG?
These early rotations, I mean, it feels very gankable for LFYs. If they make precise rotations with this Enchantress, I could see them just running over the lanes really fast. And it's hard for me to pick against LFY after watching how last game went, so I'm going to go with them.
All right, thanks very much, gents. Let's head over to our commentary team and find out whether LFY are about to have a 4-0 clean sweep on day one, or can those cheeky Brazilians grab a win? Let's find out in game number 2.
That's right, not just an Underlord, but an Arc Warden as well. Two of the heroes that SG has had success with in the past, both in one game, and it looks like a pretty good Arc Warden game as well. Facing up against a lot of range right-clickers. Bubbles got to be pretty value here. You feeling SG for game number 2, or are you? I'm already feeling like you're going to say...
Both the analysts said LFY, right?
Yeah.
And the problem with both the analysts is that they're so often wrong that it's hard for me to go with them.
They did both say SG last time.
Yes. And that is exactly why I will say SG Esports is going to not win this game. I'm pretty sure that LFY...
You know, you tried that tactic at ESL 1 Hamburg, and it did not go well for you.
What do you mean?
Or you Starlet.
Oh, the opposite thing?
No, PGL.
Oh,
did
yeah,
it at PGL.
Some people were just telling me like they were waiting for my prediction so they would do the opposite. But that looked good on you because I just did the opposite of whatever you said, and I was the one who taught you Dotes.
Yeah.
This is.
I looked like a genius. Thank you, Hopeless Stoa.
This is. I'm not doing that anymore. That was a good time though.
Yeah.
It made my job really easy as an analyst. That's why they didn't ask me to panel this one. They saw my previous track record.
They're like, all right, Will just clowns around on every panel.
They're like, shit, he's wrong a lot.
This guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Let's just put him in the casters where it doesn't matter if we don't know what we're talking about. All we have to do is sound excited and yell about spells.
The thing though is like it's disingenuous. Like there are certain times where like you have the better lineup, but you still lose. I remember PPD saying that when he was on the panel. He's like, sometimes it's easy when you're just winning and you're a better team, right? Because everything you do looks.
Is there also something to be said that a draft, like drafting superiority comes in margins, right?
Yeah.
Like you can have the edge, but it can only be by like 2%.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to our observer, Scriff, by the way. Scriff and Webpass always do an excellent job. Takes a village to make a good broadcast.
What?
What?
Takes a village? All right.
Yeah, like it's. You never heard that term?
Yeah, to raise a child.
Yeah. It takes a lot of.
So the broadcast is our child.
There's something so funny about watching Tiny Chuck.
Yeah, little Tiny. I love it when there was the last series, the one before this one, where Tiny got chased away from the bounty rune and he's carrying the tree with him. I just like in my head, I'm just thinking he's like clutching this tree and he's trying to run away with it. I'm
That's
like,
a baby.
Go, Tiny, go!
There's no way they should let him play with a giant ass tree. I refuse to believe that.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, Tiny, that tree's weighing you down, dude. They're chasing after you. Like, drop the stick. But he's like, no, it's my stick.
Does he? All right. The thing is, does he slow down when he carries it?
Doesn't.
That's so. That bothers me. That really breaks the immersion for me in Dota.
That part. That is the part that breaks the immersion for you.
Look, I can understand a sand crab lord that summons sand from literal nothing, but you're gonna tell me that he doesn't get slowed down at all? That tree is triple his size.
What about the fact that you have a game full of ghosts and gods and, and demons, and you have a guy whose entire backstory is that he's a hick farmer who rides a bat?
No, but the thing that really bothers me is the tree immersion. The fact that you're carrying a tree. Look at it. It's literally triple his size, and he doesn't get slowed down at all. That's... Also,
have you seen the sound? Have you listen to the sound though when he swings it? That does not sound to me like a tree that is like. It sounds to me like dry branches. You know?
Yeah, it does.
So
it's a cool.
I feel like it's a little bit lighter than it looks.
It's by far my favorite sound asset in Dota.
Mm.
It's really cool. They did a really good job with that one. 10 out of 10. Whoever had to find the correct
I don't think any of Valve is that. Yeah, I think literally they just bought this online somewhere.
Well,
you know how people always like, oh, there's this Dota sound effect. Yeah, that's because that Valve just bought some sound effects.
It takes a village, man. Anyways.
It takes a village to make a video game.
So SG versus LFY on the real. I think that their Arc Warden strat is very good.
Yep.
I remember. I think they played a really long game against a DP actually when they had the Arc Warden strat, and they ended up winning it.
It was VG Gaming, and they 2-0'd them.
If I recall. Yeah. There was a different game that they played.
Oh, was that at Dota Pit?
It was at.
Because Dota Pit they played against.
Maybe it was in Dota Pit.
They took a game off of Newbee, but they did not have Arc Warden for that.
I can't remember what tournament. They all start to blend together after a while. But,
yeah, they really do.
I think the Arc Warden Pit Lord strat is nice. Arc Warden is one of their better heroes. It's a hero that they like quite a lot.
This goes back to what we were saying in last game, right? That they look better when they're the ones who are defending against objective take.
Yes. I think when you're a team like that, like you have to have a definitive style. Yeah. If that makes sense. Like you can't
just be the guy. I like how this has become a meme. PC boom.
They like it.
But you can't be the guy who comes in and we're like, oh, we're the plucky underdogs. Let's copy what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, that was...
and just do it worse than they do.
There was a thing that I read in sports once. It was like, when somebody innovates in a sport, oftentimes like everyone tries to catch up to them, but you're doing it wrong because, you know, they're just going to be much better at it than you ever are. Like when you run some sort of scheme or something. And when I was coaching, I really liked that principle, is that you have to continue to innovate in a game like Dota, and you have to figure out what makes you sort of unique. And if you can't do that, well then you're kind of just like a worse reproduction of another team. Which is why Dota's such a cool game, because everybody has like, for the most part, yeah. You look at a team like Complexity, you know there's nobody quite like them. If you didn't see the names,
no.
Yeah, if you didn't see the names or anything, but you saw the heroes and like the play for like 5 minutes, I could tell you. I was like, that's a Complexity team. That's Team Complexity. And if you saw EG and you saw like their high ground heroes and stuff like that, and their emphasis on the laning phase, you'd be like, that's an EG lineup.
Liquid, very definitive style.
And that's why SG, I like the fact that they're trying to find their identity right now.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit awkward. Like, some teams are going to look a lot worse in this patch in the beginning. Teams like, for example, Mineski hasn't looked too hot. It's not like they suddenly got worse. It's that they're probably still trying to find their new identity because some of their heroes have changed. And it's not just like the heroes. It's like, how do the interactions between these heroes work? What used to work in the past might not work necessarily against like this new meta of playing against like Backbreak Tiny.
Dude, this is why they shouldn't let this child stone man.
Yeah,
have,
dude, that's dangerous.
He's like gouging out his own eye.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful with the stick.
If you looked at just like the heroes, and you couldn't tell anything about them, Night Stalker would be the scariest hero in Dota. You'd be like, wow, that guy must be the best.
It's got like, he looks like he's coming out of some sort of 80s horror movie. He's just got chains on him all over the place.
Dude, looks
for
like...
no real reason. The chains aren't really doing anything. He's just wearing them like an accessory.
Dude, it looks like Gothic Megatron. He looks amazing.
Gothic Megatron. I'm not sure how you came up with that description, but it's a beautiful one.
But this matchup, I'd imagine this is one of the few that Pit Lord's really good in. Like, normally I'm just used to Pit Lord having a rough time.
Yeah.
Remember that era of like Monkey King or Ursa? Those are like, you pick Pit Lord, you're getting Monkey King or Ursa.
Yeah. But somehow, not only is this a decent Underlord game, but he's getting a really good lane. A 1v1 against a strength hero that is not Timbersaw.
Yeah.
That would be another situation.
That's the other hero, that's right.
Oh, Ahfu.
Ahfu. He...
Not going to get it.
That was weird. He just kind of walked in, but... meanwhile, up the
top lane going for DDC. They are going to be able to get this kill, it looks like, with the turnaround onto Bardito. Throws the tree at him, brings him down. Monet at least gets some vengeance for the Witch Doctor, but it's Theo who managed to pick up the first blood. It's great for him. Sand King, early boots, upgraded boots, maybe.
Look at this gank. He's going to send the Golem down here. He looks like he was waiting for it to die so it would split, so he would time it so that he gets the triple rock.
Yeah.
Which would be a sick timing. And he's going to go around on it.
But instead, he's just going to maybe double rocket. Let's see if this Golem dies here anytime soon. Oh, he missed. Good juke by Liposa.
Very nice. And I think it was just because he jumped the gun a little. Maybe if he waits like half a second, Ahfu gets that kill.
Yeah, honestly, you could dive the tower because it's even good if you dive the tower because the Golems
then the
will
Golems die and they break apart.
But yeah, this aggro tri-lane choice by SG. It's kind of where we were leading the conversation. Seems to be good. The tri-lane seems to be going well. I should say dual lane kind of right now. But they're getting the 1v1 for the Underlord as well. That seems to be working out. And then they've got mid, Death Prophet. Here comes the gank.
It arrived a little bit later than we expected, and he is sending that
just a guard by the tower. Liposa is trying to juke it out, but Ahfu does have him locked inside the trees. Really well played. Liposa is going to live a little bit longer, but should be chased down. The mini golems are going to come out. They died to the tower and came out and gave the double stun. Wow, that was cool.
That was a very sick move. The other purpose that it serves too is if somebody comes in for the TP and that gank takes a little bit longer, you know. So he kind of set up like a 3-level trap there. I'm not sure if he meant to. I'm sure he did because he's Ahfu, but very, very cool maneuver by him.
Man, I wish I was that good at microing.
Yeah. When you get to do stuff like that, like, it does make things look quite easy. Those are probably one of the nicer creeps to get, just because you get like the set of them.
Liposa snipes it away right before the Hellbear can complete the smash.
He's taking
and
a
now
lot of damage,
he is right-clicking Ahfu real hard. But he is going to be chased away by the neutral.
That's a pillar that does like nearly 90 damage.
Yeah.
Not a hero that you necessarily want to mess with as in mid 40R.
He somehow got close enough for its Spirit Siphon.
It's not that hard, really. Because if you're playing the sniper, you're going to go for the Aquila first. Like, it's super common to go for the Aquila first.
Okay.
And as a result, the enemy mid almost always has boots before you do, because it's a significant investment, right? It's like 500 extra gold that you go for. So when the enemy mid has boots over you, you just...
And in this matchup, it's still okay for the sniper not to have boots, right? Because if you do get in range of the Spirit Siphon, you're just going to throw shrapnel down and run away. It's not like Spirit Siphon has a great cooldown. You can't just keep running at him and keep doing it over.
It's same as game number 1, though. But this time around, they have a little bit more team fight with the Sand King, with the Ogre, and the Death Prophet. The Pit Lord, obviously, a very good vehicle for everybody to get in and out. And I think I like this lineup a little bit more from SG overall. I still think that LFY, there might just be like a comfort level that just exists with them right now that makes them really strong. Because keep in mind, this is a team that got top 4 at TI.
Yeah.
They got 4th, right?
Yeah, it's either 3rd or 4th.
It feels like ages ago. Like, so much has changed in the Dota scene. The only thing that's kind of remained is Liquid is still pretty dominant. As another tree.
Chuck them trees, baby. What do you think about these tinies? Go like 1-1-4 as sort of a carry tiny. Do you feel like that is the item build, or skill build rather? Oh, bottom lane, they're going to try and charge Liposa once again, but this time around the Sand King is going to TP in underneath of the Storm too. They're going to be able to get a lot of damage from the Night Stalker. May not be enough. Maybe it's enough for Ahfu though. The tower is going to help out with a caustic finale. Managed to get the pop. Inflame will take a little bit of extra damage from Theo. In the end, it is a 1-for-1 trade-off. Worth it for LFY, it seems, because they did manage to kill a core. But it's not like the Underlord's going to slow down and farm whatsoever. She's going to come right back to lane and push the Night Stalker out again.
Yeah, and it's not bad either because it means that the Death Prophet isn't being pressured. It means that the Arc Warden isn't being pressured. When you play against a hero like Enchantress, you know that one of your lanes is hit hard. That's the unfortunate reality that you live in. You can't protect all 3 lanes at all times. Nobody's that amazing at Dota. You can't read the future, but the best thing that you can do is like somebody thinks the gank, if it's your Underlord, it's not the worst thing in the world because he will do the same thing. So just come back to the lane, shove it out. And now it's Theo who rotating around. He understands that pressure is going to come in next for 40R, and that's why he's sitting here. Very good rotation by him, and Inflame is here too for the rotation. He's going to run into him right now.
He's just trying to match wherever the Enchantress goes, right? They throw down the ward. They aren't going to be able to... Oh, what a beautiful double stun. Setting up 40R really well, but he has to back himself away. He's manning down for this fight. Didn't want to go for the kill on Ahfu because the heal is a little bit too much, and it means they're just going to be able to run down both the supports here. Bardino trapped inside the trees up at top lane. They do manage to kill the Arc Warden as well as the Sand King and Ogre. So LFY end up picking 3 there.
That was way too successful for them. They didn't have to move that many pieces around, and it was actually SG that had to counter-rotate quite a bit of heroes, and yet it still went in their favor as up at top, Monet, with the help of the Witch Doctor.
Have another problem here.
Still, CS is
good
quite
for
nice.
Everyone on SG, yeah.
It's quite nice. They have 3 heroes that are doing quite well for themselves. There's just not a lot of synergy between them. Like the downside of heroes like Pit Lord when you put him in the off lane, or heroes of that nature, is that they're not going to give you a ton of like gank. You're not going to get ganked by a Pit Lord. He's not going to like throw fire on you. Like,
if the game's going bad, it's not like, oh, don't worry, Underlord's coming online, guys. He's going to change things up for us.
No, this hero serves one purpose, is to shove out lanes, save people, which I guess is two. His team fight is like, I mean, you got Dark Willow's brambles, but worse.
I don't know. Well, you're making him sound like kind of a bad hero. Do you think he's not a great offlaner?
He's unique because when you think about offlaners, you think of them like sort of within degrees of each other. Like they're oftentimes just going to be, they're a stun. An offlaner is a stun. He's a team fight.
A blink stunner usually.
Yeah, he's a blink stunner. That's like, he doesn't need much else. You don't really want him to need else. Everything else is like an accessory. But Pit Lord is different in the sense that like he's not really a stun. He's not really this like instant, you know, if you got a blink dagger on Pit, you wouldn't be like, oh, the Pit Lord blinks in, gets a Pit, 5-man Pit. Wow. Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
It's a disaster.
People aren't going to die to that, but
right.
What he does is he does shove out the wave without necessarily having to be there. He's very tanky, and his ultimate is just amazing. It makes your tower pushes free.
Yeah, they've got two different really good. I mean, they've got another hero that gives you free pushes, which is Arc Warden and his double. And then they're also going to have some decent synergy with the Death Prophet exorcism pushing into a tower.
As I say that, the Pit Lord gank.
It's happening. Burrow Strike lead up into the fire pit and should be able to run down super pretty easily. DDC actually comes in. I thought maybe they would try and run him down as well underneath the tower, but just want to take the one core kill and call it at that.
Well, post to finding that Invis rune. Probably one of the few situations where that pays off.
Yeah.
I like that rotation a lot. Instead of just sitting down bottom, because he knows that the rotation's coming. He's going to die again.
Exactly what LFY are looking for. Playing Ahfu, both pushing into bottom.
Yeah, but they're not going to find him, and they should know now that the pressure was coming there. So a very nice move by him, being a little bit more proactive, understanding like maybe I have to change things up a little bit.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
and he definitely needs to create something on the map, because he can't just let his Arc Warden get pressured up in the top lane.
Yeah.
Not worth it of a trade.
Poor child Tiny. You see him? That's a bloodlusted Arc Warden. So not only is he small, but the enemy's really, really big too.
It's got to be frightening, man.
Yeah.
And
like
again,
3 times
that guy, that kid he lives.
He does.
He just picks up trees off the
ground. He's one of those kids you see on YouTube. They're like 10 years old, and you know they can box and shit.
No, he's really strong.
He's been lifting since he was like 4 years old.
Look at this man.
Look at that guy. He just tossed the fat man back to the creep wave. Bardino instantly goes to the TP out because he knows. Everyone's beginning to know. Sand King situation is the cast does land after the Burrow Strike. That is barely going to be enough damage, partly because he had raindrops on cooldown. Unfortunately for our Sand King, 3-7. Slight lead for LFY here, 2,000 gold lead. It's a slight, but that's actually a pretty big gold lead for this early on to the game.
Yeah, without, I guess the bottom tower kind of matters. And it feels more significant because the CS lead was such in favor of SG for a while. And it just means that the CS is being offset by the fact that there's...
You're going to see a rotation here from my Night Stalker. Okay, maybe not. It's daytime after all. He's got his ultimate. Make something to happen.
Really strong right now, though. Opting to go for 4 levels of Thunder in the night, and...
I love this urn choice by him, because it can turn into a Spirit Vessel. Liposa saw that one come. Goes for the ult out, should be fine. Takes a long time, maybe he's not fine. Oh my god.
Wow.
Dude, Medallion of Courage is so good for Enchantress.
Yeah.
Like, that should not have been as close as it was, but Medallion Enchantress changes a lot.
He only has 5 armor to begin with. So that was a lot closer.
So LFY immediately goes and takes Inflame from that bottom lane attempt onto the Underlord up the top lane to go for the Arc Warden, and SG did not expect this pace of the game. Costabile, he's definitely going to go down to, but they are going to get a lot of damage onto LFY. Monet's dropping dangerously low. Looks like Inflame's going to be caught by 40R. Tries to suicide into the neutrals, but they were sleeping. DDC also going to be caught here. Great Burrow Strike. Theo stops the TP out, and Monet is the one to be able to complete the TP. 40R instantly goes where the X's and push. Wants to make this fast and furious, take that tier 1 tower, and potentially get back to his mid lane, which is being pushed in by the sniper right now.
Yeah, it was very nice. And that's just the benefit of Liposa being able to barely get out of there. The turnaround potential from having the entire team.
The Sand King and the Death Prophet. They want to match speed with speed. LFY, they just lost the fight in top lane. Now they're going to lose super in mid. 40R is going to come in, try and finish off the Spirit Sight, and maybe the Arc Warden slow. That should be enough. Theo catches up to him, and a carrion from is going to be there from 40R.
TP out even, and very nice turnaround play from SG.
That was sick from both sides.
Yes.
Like, I love the fact that LFY picked up that speed, went to top lane, but SG met them there at top, and that set up for mid lane. I mean, our sniper is thinking like, oh, they're going to commit to that top tower, right? I'm good. But Theo, really great read on it, made the rotation in behind the mid lane, setting all that up for him.
Ahfu invised up. He wants to try to make an attempt on this, but doesn't want to have to dive too far. No Blink Dagger quite yet. They're going to try to find the angle. They know the Sand King's here.
Yeah, they really go.
There's a Spite net.
Got him.
It was kind of annoying.
Theo was mildly inconvenienced for half a second.
But these things add up.
That'll be one of the things the panelists go over.
Yeah.
That's why you're the best analyst, Blitz. Your attention to detail.
Thank you. Who else would have noticed that 1 second net delay?
68, that gold lead, that was once 2K, around the 7-minute mark.
It's barely
less than
anything now.
1K. Yeah.
And
oh, it was almost 3K.
Yeah. Oh, now it's fine. And
yeah,
this is the kind of game that you play as an Arc Warden. Like you, unless you're really greedy, you have to understand that this hero is going to be a little bit behind. That's okay. It suffers from the effect that Arc Warden, you're going to be a bit behind, but you'll get so much stronger. He's like the opposite Alk in that regard. Like, you know that this hero is going to take a long time to build up, but the payoff is immense because he's 2.
Do you think this LFY last pick Enchantress, I feel like it's not really paying out the dividends? You know, last pick is so important, and they have not won the laning phase as hard as they should have.
I think it was better than you're giving him credit for. Like, he won this bottom lane first team pretty handedly.
Okay, so it wasn't on him, the fact that his net worth turned around, let's say.
Yeah.
He set the net worth pace, and then... snipers! And a tree! Oh god, the tree!
It was like a race.
You can't outrun tree! Oh, Monet. Killing spree. Ooh.
If you didn't have Ench, you wouldn't have taken that bottom tower.
Yeah. And you wouldn't have had that 3,000 gold lead.
Exactly. So it's hard to say, like, that easily that the Ench was not that useful.
Our Night Stalker is pretty big as well, and this second nighttime is probably one of the biggest places for him to act, and he's going to come out and go straight for the Arc Warden. Big time kill, especially with Monet jumping in with his Blink Dagger, but 40 yards here, he's going to be able to pick up at least 1 kill off this one. Easily takes up the sniper. Now going to go for LFY's Inflame. They're trying to stun and finish off 40 yards fast as possible. The Spirit Sight just keep it alive, but they definitely he's enough to finish him off. DDC stands tall and does a little jig, taking out 1 member of SG, maybe to get a little more. Yes, the toss over. The Enchantress creep finishes off 1. The Tiny ends up going down, though, as SG proved to just be too damn big to beat out in that team fight. The Arc Warden throwing his illusions forward, plus the Underlord damage. He did so much Firestorm damage there. LFY end up trading away kills there, and it looks like they did walk away with a little bit of gold lead. It looks like they'll get even more if they can actually finish off this Underlord. Theo's here, but he can't save the Underlord, doesn't even try. LFY will manage to pick up an extra kill on top of that small lead they got from that team fight.
Yeah, and it was mainly because the Arc Warden bought back. So he dies right here, but he notices that his DP is going in. He's like, I have to commit for this fight.
Yeah,
he
that
buys
would have
back,
been sick.
Comes in. They thought that they were going to probably wipe this fight, but look at that Death Ward.
Yeah.
DDC went off in this fight.
Dude, if they had the bubble, think that would have saved the Death Prophet? Does it save you from Death Ward? I'm sure it does. Poor Sand King in trouble, silence up for far too long, and Inflame is just going out of control. He's been top net worth a couple times now, currently is after that team fight in the mid lane. Him and Ahfu did a lot of work in that bottom lane. They're continuing to establish control very quickly over SG's side of the map. They just might find an Arc Warden here. He doesn't see them until it's too late. Silenced up, and the damage coming out from Ahfu is easily going to be enough.
Gotcha.
Well played, 8-15 LFY.
And remember, he just died, bought back, died again. Now his game has been slowed down a considerable amount. They want to try to take this mid tower, create a little bit more space for their sniper, who has struggled.
Liposa does have a pipe and threw out that ultimate pretty prematurely. They just wanted to be able to take the tower. But he was surrounded on all sides, so.
That pipe makes him really tanky, but
He
not
did
sure
that
if it matters.
Did the accidental just R back on mini-map somewhere.
It's like the panic click. You
Yeah,
think
the
you're gonna die?
panic click. Don't do the panic click against Witch Doctor.
The Maledict?
It's not good, dude.
DDC, though, has just been running them over in both games.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Theo is
Get him, Theo!
doing some kind of weird dance fight with...
They're both kind of like waving their arms
They're like
together.
swaying.
Dancing to a music that we cannot hear. SG is going to be able to catch Ahfu. SG, they're willing to group up nice and early, and it is finding them some pickoffs, but also it's lost them that mid-team fight. Looks like they're going to lose. Oh no, they're going to lose their Arc Warden again! Maybe they can get something off this one, but DDC challenges Bardino. He's going to be able to take out that Ogre potentially with the Maledict. He's going to take so much damage off this one. DDC tries to TP out, unable to make it. See if Bardino pops. Ooh, just 69 HP is what he lives with.
What level was that Maledict? Is that 2?
I think it was only like level 2 or 3. If it was level 4, he definitely would have killed it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think even level 3 might have been enough.
Yeah, for sure.
But still not too bad. At the same time, they are losing their most important hero repeatedly.
I do feel like SG is taking the same pace of game that we saw in game number 1 and even the previous series of SG. They're always trying to fight into the enemy team, even when it may not be their time to fight into them, you know? Like, I feel like they're just kind of like, go, go, go.
It's a large part of, like, not being able to know where you're necessarily safe.
Barely missing out on the Burrow Strike, Sun. 40R still trying to run him down with the
might have enough.
Exorcism, and may still be able to get him. Yeah, he's actually got him dead to rights. Now, looks like Monet taking into a nasty spot. There's way too much physical damage coming out from 40R, and he may have just caught another. Ahfu slowed down, able to keep the Spirit Siphon on top of him, with the Exorcism rolling in hot. Ahfu's going to take a good amount of damage from this one, and 40R has another Spirit Siphon to be able to slow him down even further. Now the Ghosts are going to get on top of him, and Ahfu should end up dying here. A little bit of wand charges, and barely outruns the Ghost. Is able to stay alive for the time being. LFY, though, they just got 2 big, or excuse me, SG just got 2 big core kills. Liposa, I hope you TP back to the fountain this time. Oh god, he didn't.
He's gonna be fine. He has a pipe. He's really strong.
Are you sure? It's gonna be close?
Nah, not really. He's gonna make it out, no problem. The pipe helps him out a lot. I think.
Yeah, it really does.
You gotta understand, man. He's quite tanky. There's a lot of HP regen with him too. Soul Ring plus pipe.
If he had level 3 Maledict again, might have been another kill.
If he has level 3.
Level 4?
If he has level 4.
If it was just one more level every time,
it keeps ticking up. If it was only level 6.
Yeah.
But still not a bad engagement at all. You have to respect the DP ult. Like,
yeah.
Regardless of how far ahead you are, that ulti is gonna hurt.
Bardino, it's gonna be caught in the act of teleporting. Inflame.
I mean, they learned the lesson the hard way, though, that this Death Prophet, like, regardless of how far the deficit is, you can be up 3-4k gold, but Death Prophet ults, when he's melee range, like, the time he completed his TP, he was right on top of every single ghost coming back in. Like, it was the perfect timing for it. You saw him just get obliterated. Yeah,
he may get armor out of Grow now, but it's still not that much.
Yeah.
You're still very susceptible. I mean, look at him. He's just walking around plus 10 armor.
Yeah, that was pretty absurd, like, how quickly he went down.
Actually, was he level 12 in that last fight? I think he was the smaller form, so he may have actually just been plus 5 in that last.
I have to imagine he was, because he's already almost close to 13. I don't think he got 2 levels in that time period. Sort of unlikely, but it's still pretty strong. SG, it did make huge waves though right there. Like, you notice that Liposa all of a sudden now has the most farm in the game by far.
Yeah.
He's 400 net worth above everyone. That lead's going to extend once they take this top tower, most likely.
There's the Spirit Vessel, though. Big counter to the Death Prophet. They can actually put that damage. Same goes for the Underlord, actually, because he just keeps a decent amount of regen at all times.
It's quite useful against him as well. It's more... That's like a cool item in general, like the fact that you can stop that regen.
Yeah. I think people understate how much especially on strength heroes and the way Ice Frog's been buffing them.
Yeah.
That strength, health regen, big factor, and Spirit Vessel does help stop that as well.
It's got to be really nice against a lot of this hero. Same with like Alk.
Give this Tiny a better chance to be able to pop the Death Prophet. That's going to be his main goal in team fights, right? Get on top of the Arc Warden, get on top of the Death Prophet, take them out before the fight even starts.
He needs a BKB though. During that time, like your initial jump, you don't want to get disabled at all. Otherwise, you just get kited. So it's much more important in a game like this that he gets a BKB. As Liposa is going to get spotted out, but this is a Crimson Guard pipe Underlord. They do have a charge of the Vessel though, so they might actually want to try
that
for
is
this.
a hasted Rockman. Now, fortunately, Theo is able to get the Sandstorm off and stuns up Monet. Low down, but don't want to go on an Underlord, nor should they, as 40R would take great advantage of that if they committed for Liposa. And they may not have the synergy in the laning phase, but now we are beginning to see the synergy as they go into the mid game with their Pipe and Crimson Guard, which the Death Prophet takes serious advantage of. We've got Theo, who now has a Blink initiating tool. And even that bubble is going to help 40R significantly. It's just going to be the headshot procs that get through the bubble.
Yeah. They immediately smoke over the ridge line, but they are sandwiched by wards.
Oh, running
so
into an
nobody
ancient
goes
stone.
back. Maybe they have an idea that this is happening, but this is a relatively low risk investment, although nobody is pushing on top, so this should start making things a little bit more clear, especially with the Firestorm that came out of nowhere into this mid lane.
Spooky Firestorm. Yeah, bottom wave, top wave, both being pushed in.
The top one is the more concerning one, and if you before the ward faded at the bottom area, like they were covered pretty well. Like LFY would have seen them go back on either side.
So LFY in turn know that, okay, they have to have given up on this by now.
Yeah.
We're going to smoke forward as they break apart to deal with top lane and see if they can push out bottom lane or farm up neutrals, whatever. They're going to break apart. We're going to get our fight. And LFY Inflame is going to be the one to scout them out. His smoke ends up popping. Don't think they got spotted though, right? Because it's still nighttime.
I think both teams though should have an idea that this is happening.
Yeah.
There was a window of opportunity for LFY because that top wave and the bottom wave are in decent position. Like the bottom wave isn't quite hitting the tower quite yet.
Yeah.
But as soon as it does reach, you probably see somebody down there.
Don't want to give up towers to just regular lane.
Yeah, it's a lot of farm too. That you start to lose over time.
Monet is not the man to go farm that though. It's not right now. Probably thinks it's a little bit too risky of being ganked. He's still trying to work on his beak. Getting closer and closer to it.
Yeah, super that they send down there because you can just
do it at a distance.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting choice though.
But even he backs up real quickly. Good thing too, SG tried to catch him. Theo wrapping from the side.
That's a really strong pit lord. They don't feel too comfortable fighting. I don't know if he realizes yet, but Liposa is the strongest hero in this game right now. In terms of just being able to tank 2,000 HP, he's got a pipe, Crimson Guard. Like he's going to tank for a lot. The sniper won't hit very hard during those
get
first
Guardian
initial
Greaves
hits.
too? Just for max out sustain?
I don't think so. Maybe you get something, maybe you get more of an armor item.
Caught him with the Rod of Atos, but they don't want to commit for that kill, and it would have been dangerous with the cask. Theo is going to have to back out. Burrow strikes himself away after the Malatic lands on him.
Oh, with the pipe popped. Not taking any damage. Looks like they want to set up for this
Careful
Ahfu.
of that Arc War, and just throwing out his doppelganger.
Game gets paused real fast. It's super. But in terms of fighting, it really looks like SG want to force something to happen, and LFY, they're happy to just disengage. They've got the sniper on their hands, so they understand that when it comes to like the ultra late and the high ground, things of that nature, it's very easy for them to defend. But what they don't have is they don't have the best form of lockdown cap.
Yeah.
Like that is something that they really sorely lack. Once BKB start to come online, things get really complicated for them. They don't have these heroes that like easily cut through them. They do have physical damage, but disables, things of that nature, they lack pretty heavily. Their main catch is a Night Stalker, and I mean, NS has been an excellent hero this game, don't get me wrong, but he does have a fall-off point, right? Because your hero is one nuke, which is incredibly powerful, but it begins to get less and less important.
Yeah, it's not going to look nearly as good as any other off-lane initiator when your stun is split second.
I mean, how do you feel when you use like 60 minutes in and you've got a Night Stalker that just like walks in and times?
If you're a 4 position, you feel great. You're like, wow, this 4 position's giving us game-winning vision. Yeah. As a core, not doing a whole lot for you when it comes to damage and disables, so not great. But that's where Ahfu takes over, right? The support that turns into a core when it comes from a damage-dealing aspect.
He's pretty poor, I think, correctly. He hasn't had a lot to work with. I like this build though, by the way. Dagger on the Death Prophet. Really big fan of that.
Yeah.
You just when you dive and stuff like that, you don't want to waste time just like Rod of Atosing and then letting your ghost catch up.
Yeah.
You just pop him on top.
We literally just saw Death Prophet versus Sniper and how important mobility was in that matchup and being able to have the blink to get on top of the Sniper. That was that Vega game, right? Vega versus...
No, was it Secret? I think it was the Secret game.
It might have been a Secret game too, but we're not fun. Group A.
So if they win, if SG gets 2-0 here, it'll be 2-0, 2-0, 2-0?
Yes. Good.
They're looking pretty good for them right now, though.
Yeah, they are.
Their team fight is really
definitely
strong.
close out this game because they've got this combination of windows, right, where they look good now when it comes to pushing and stuff, and even late game they can still fall back on the Arc Warden.
They have a good mix of physical damage, magic damage. They've got good catch with the Sand King. They're pretty strong for them. I don't mind this lineup at all.
What are the like weaknesses? You look at SG's lineup.
They had 3 very independent cores. Like their cores couldn't really help each other too much, but once everybody has a measure of farm, which they do now, and they got through the mid game without getting too far behind, their lineup feels a lot better.
Yeah. So once they got over the Night Stalker hump.
Yeah. Once there's this problem when you play against heroes like Night Stalker where you know you're just gonna get ran around the map and people are gonna get killed. But if you accept that and you don't incur too many heavy losses, then things kind of swing back in your favor.
You have to make sure you don't.
He looks so scary in the night.
Mouth face. That line goes up his forehead too, so that suggests that his face could peel back even further. Maybe it shows off his brain. Blitz has a problem with gore.
I do. It's because I saw a scary movie when I was a kid and I never.
Yeah, we all saw a scary movie when we were a kid and didn't quite get over it.
Yeah, but I really didn't want to watch that movie.
What movie was it?
It was Dawn of the Dead. I was in
Dawn of the Dead. Damn, that is a gory one. How old were you?
I was like in the 5th grade, man. I was done.
Gee.
So that's why me doesn't play Night Stalker. Only the happy blue man.
Only the fat happy blue man.
The jolliest character in Dota. No scary spooky. No scary spooky characters for me. But Inflame didn't care.
So no Death Prophet either?
Yeah, Inflame didn't watch Dawn of the Dead when he was 10.
Inflame, he likes the darkness. Alright, this is a tough fight to take. As LFY, you could see the way the SG push forward. You're basically forcing LFY to fight into a high ground area. And SG, they're gonna go take that 3 tier 2 and Uber on back, push out mid. This is the first time that we've seen the Underlord really employed when it comes to the team fight. And they almost caught Monet in the process of backing up, but he does have the blink to be able to get away.
I'll take your tribute.
And locking down this hero isn't very easy. The status, he just shrugs stuff off.
It's insane. I found the counter though, Blitz.
The Disruptor?
It's Doom.
With
But
Ags?
not the Doom, yes, the Doom with Ags.
Yeah, I understand
Never
that.
let Tiny leave your sight.
Yeah, but what if Tiny just like built all moves?
Never let him leave your sight, Will.
Yeah, fair. Oh, he is going Greaves, by the way. I thought he'd
Okay.
go something like the Shivas, but I guess he just wants to go like all out support vestments.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with it because the only way I see LFY winning this game is if they kill Death Prophet, right? And
Yeah.
if they kill Death Prophet, it requires Tiny to jump in and try and burst him down.
Just spam Spirit Vessels.
And Spirit Vessels, I guess.
Yeah.
But that like, as long as they don't burst him, when Tiny jumps in, like if he doesn't burst the Death Prophet, then you become the Spirit Siphon target. And you've got a lot of HP, so that ends up being a large percentage heal for 4DR.
The ult was expended for this. They really want to take this road.
They are committed.
This is a much nicer look from SG. It looks
Clean.
like, yeah, in the other game it felt like because they had this anti-mage threat, they were defaulting a little bit too much, and when they did go for smokes, it was just a little bit too sloppy. But it feels like when they play with the Arc Warden, they get this hero that naturally shoves out the wave without any sort of cost commitment, and it makes it easier for them to play.
Now, I am no Portuguese expert. Don't believe. Okay. Frustration, perhaps, at the frequent pauses.
Especially because for the first time in a while,
You're winning.
They have the gold lead.
Yeah.
Liposa.
You are feeling the momentum of this game, and it's being halted by pauses.
Yeah, Liposa has never given up the gold lead this game. He is just like firmly cemented himself. And I like that. When you play heroes like Tidehunter and Underlord, oh, I hate it when people tell me that Underlord doesn't need farm.
No,
Or-
you gotta farm all the time.
Yeah. Or when people say that Tidehunter doesn't need farm, like,
No, you just need a blink.
no, Tidehunter needs so much farm.
No, you need to farm non-stop.
Yes. The hero is like a giant farming watermelon. he's got a tool to farm.
Basically, the way I think about it is you want to retain your status.
Yes.
As the big dick, you know? You just want to be like, I'm too big for you to kill.
Yes.
And if you don't farm, if you don't keep farming, then you just quickly turn into a...
You get weaker and weaker, and then people just burst you. They don't respect you at all.
Respect.
We saw that game. It was like the Cole game where
Yeah.
they no longer cared that Tide existed. But up at top, Super, who tries to push back the wave. It's just gonna run. Getting pretty fun, by the way. Aelstrom, Mask of Madness, Pike, a lot of attack speed.
All out damage. And he needs it too. Because he's going to be their primary source of high ground defense.
He's really the most important hero right now.
He may just get caught by Theo here. Throws out the shrapnel. Theo sees his opportunity. Way ahead of his team. But goes, oh, he couldn't get the flux to slow down Super. So maybe jumped a little bit too far ahead of his team.
Yeah.
He had Epicenter too.
If he just waited, I think, like 2 seconds.
Yeah, or if he just Epicenters, then like at least then you have the slow as well.
Imagine that position. If they kill him right there, he doesn't have buyback.
They go high ground.
He's their high ground hero too.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's why you kind of have to be on the same page. It's so important that you're on the same page for a move like that, because it's an aggressive maneuver, but it's a game-winning one too if you make it count. As Liposa is gonna pop the ulti.
Man, they are playing this safe. Don't leave Costabile behind.
And they're gonna 5-man shrine under a ward, and Coconut flies in, dings him on the head, gives him a little bit of a love tap. They have the Aegis though, they wanted to try to utilize it, but they understand like LFY can still win fights, but it is looking little by little, bit by bit, more and more SG's game. The Arc Warden starting to pick up steam. Death Prophet is still Death Prophet. And now everyone's starting to get Blink Dagger so they can collapse onto the sniper, because they understand like he goes down, it becomes really easy to go for the high ground. Like that one kill, they don't have easy wave clear on their team. Their Tiny can kind of cut waves, but it's not your favorite hero that is going to be able to do so.
Especially since he's kind of supposed to be your hunting assassination hero.
Yeah, and even more importantly, if you think about it, when the wave does come in eventually, who's going to really force them back. They don't have any hero that forces engagements. Like, you can toss stuff, I guess, but like Enchantress doesn't help. The Witch Doctor has to get kind of close. Same with the Night Stalker. Like, all these heroes, melee or worse, like they don't have an out spam. Mid tower gonna get denied, but still another tower in the books for SG.
Start backing up. You can see LFY pushing forward, seeing if they find maybe a hero that splits apart, and that hero may be the Underlord, but it's going to be a tough nut to crack. They're going to have to silence him, make sure he doesn't get off his ultimate. He does have the Guardian 3, so he's going to be able to burst that one off of him. He does not have the ultimate, though. He's going to have to hide himself in the trees and somehow juke this one out for 10 seconds, or just complete the TP. Wow. Well played, Liposa. Dude, this guy just looks like a different offlaner when he's playing Underlord.
Yeah, that was... There's not a lot of sick plays you can make with an Underlord, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's the second time now that he's juked around that tree area. Very familiar. And now Costabile is going to push in with that Arc Warden. Maybe see if they can spot anybody coming in. I mean, this illusion, it's an illusion, but it's still very strong. Not even an illusion. It's like a...
Doppelganger?
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
It is a good word for it. Wonder how I came up with that one.
How?
Might be its name.
I thought it was just like cloned. Cloned, dude.
Yeah, but... Ganger is somewhere in that description. Doppelganger was a good word. You're right. I'm a genius.
You thought it was its spell name. Now you just look like a fool. You had time to protract that too.
You know, that's the ups and downs of me being a commentator.
Oh, SG.
Liposa. Gotta get out of here. Pops the ultimate.
Get everyone out.
Just in time before the silence is
there.
Get everyone out.
Oh,
no, that's not everyone.
Flee.
Run, 40R. He's super fast.
He's incredibly quick.
Like Inflame, a Night Stalker is trying to chase him down during nighttime, and it's not even close.
Two can play
at that. You do
that.
not beat the Death Prophet in a foot race.
Two can play at that game.
Is it just me, or is it too easy to get movement speed?
No, I think movement speed.
Like, I feel like people are just getting max movement speed so easy. Alright. Nice Soccer.
Pops his BKB.
BKB, okay. He's still trying to challenge this one because apparently the rest of his team is going to try and fight this one out. The Death Prophet heals himself out, trying to get out Rod of Patos. They are able to finish off Bardino. Liposa turns. Costabile is going to be able to come in. Here comes the epicenter.
Need to protect
Super 2, and that's a big one. They get so much AoE damage. They're able to finish off Super here. Just need a little bit of right click, and they'll finish him off. 40R pop the exorcism just to make sure they win this fight against LFY, and they're going to go for the fast push through the top lane. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to catch Inflame. He makes the successful TP out, but it's easy for SG just go straight through top lane. There is no buyback from the sniper.
If they kill Inflame too, they take a gem. It's going to be an even bigger swing as the BKB was expended. This is a huge expenditure.
I can't believe they tried to force this fight so badly.
Yeah, also in a high ground area. Look at Theo though, from the high ground, sees the opportunity, understands that it's a long fight. That's stunned into 2.
So beautiful.
Oh, it went so well for them.
So sick. Let's see it one more time. Oh, jump in. Here comes Theo. Apparently he's going to jump on by Monet. Pops his BKB. They already took out DDC though, and Jesus. All right.
Finally does get sniped
for one.
And
that was a buyback from the sniper too. He didn't have buyback earlier, but must have been tickled or something.
Yeah, have it, but not the kind of way that they want to use it, especially since they're not going to get that much more out of it. Speaking in terms of like exit strategies, that was pretty clean.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, like when you go for the high ground, it's really messy. You're going to lose a few heroes in exchange for like tower damage or even taking the tower, taking racks. But it's a sign of a good team, good escape when you're disciplined. You lose a hero.
Well, surely it's kind of easy to look good when the enemy team doesn't really have any catch.
Yes, and that's what we talk about. Like,
right?
If you're playing this Night Stalker core and you don't snowball out of control, it's going to be rough. Like, you normally need a second form of control coming from somewhere, but it doesn't really exist for them. Like, their catch is kind of non-existent. Like, their fight starting is like Night Stalker pops BKB at night and runs in and hopes that people stay. Think about that for a second. Like, that's how they have to commit to the fight. It's pretty ugly. Otherwise, it's Tiny, like, blinking in, getting on top of things. But even he isn't very strong anymore. Like, nobody's really fearing his one-shot potential. And they have enough to deal with him too because of this Pit Lord. Like, this Pit Lord pick is paying off quite hard for them.
Will, you said they don't have any way to push them out of your base. But now they've got literally knockback distance from the sniper. Nice initiation from Monet. From the side, managed to get a lot of damage on two different heroes. Costabile is going to be forced back. The assassinate is not enough to finish him off, though. And now 40R is going to pop the exorcism from the side, though. Oh, nice double stun. Theo managed to hit two with a first strike, and now slowing him down with the epicenter long enough for 40R to be able to jump on top of these heroes. He doesn't want DDC, though. He's going to leave that to Theo. He wants the more important hero in Ahfu, and he's going to be able to clean up with the exorcism pretty damn easily. Dominating spree for 40R as he heads uphill into the tier 3 in a 3 versus 5 for LFY.
Yeah, but really wanted that sniper, and
whoa,
unfortunately they're not going to be able to take
damage. Chill, dude. Oh, thankfully a 4-staff gets him out of range of Monet's attempted initiation of the avalanche. He is able to stay alive.
Yeah, still 2 for 1. They didn't lose anybody too key. If you're going to lose anybody, it's going to be the Sand King, and even better, the Ogre. But it's really just a game now of how many chances do you get. Like, in one of these attempts, do you catch the sniper? If you do, you win the game. If you don't, well, hopefully you don't lose any of your core heroes. Like, that's the kind of dice that SG is rolling right now. And it's not bad, honestly, because they have this escape mechanism in this Pit Lord. So it's just free attempts, essentially, at going for it. Like, if you grab this sniper in one of them, and that all it really takes is just one of them. And you have to assume, like, if you grab the sniper, nobody else on your team is dying because of this Pit Lord.
That's why this initiation from LFY, they have to get a little tricky with it, right?
Yes.
That's why Monet has to come outside the base, initiate from the side, because you can't just let this straight 5-man run up your tower business happen. Almost catching Ahfu. They do manage to get him jump in, burrow strike. Costabile has to back up, though. They managed to get the paralyzing cask out, and he's a little bit scared of being jumped on by LFY, and that is enough distance for Ahfu to be able to escape. Unsuccessful smoke from SG, but will they continue to... No, never mind. 35 seconds for exorcism. Definitely no way they're going high ground yet.
And a heart completed now on this Death Prophet. Everyone on the side of SG beginning to scale. They should feel that this game is pretty firmly in their control. All it takes is maybe 1 or 2 more shoves. Grab the sniper and an opportune moment. It doesn't even matter who else you take at that point. You can go for the high ground. The damage dealing behind the initiation isn't going to be there for them.
Sniper can play a lot more fearless to his BKB pickup. So that's a significant help, and he already has shown that he has enough damage to be able to deal with any of these heroes. You saw when Liposa was getting shredded. Now he's got MKB, he's had it for a while. Yeah. He's able to eat through that bubble.
LFY outside of their base for the first time in a while. If you look at the vision game,
they just can't give up Roche. Right? This is be death sentence for at least 1 lane of racks.
Yeah, and the darkness has been popped.
Whoa.
Monet.
I mean, 40R with this heart, he's feeling so good. He could just be on the front lines.
But the Tiny does not pop any stuns. Like, he did not care about that Atos at all.
Yeah,
he just casually walked away from it. Still a really fast hero, 382 move speed. Got that 481 from the Death Prophet to contend with, and now Roshan's starting to get low.
So quickly.
You gotta be decisive. What's the play?
Damage. They're actually committing all 3 cores into this pit right now, and LFY, they're gonna be a little bit too slow to actually get there in time, but maybe they can still take the fight afterwards. We'll see. Inflame spots him out, and Monet comes in. Managing to get the 2-man stun. Going for 40R. He's already low, down to half HP. If they can finish him off, that'd be huge. They turn off instead. Looks like Super is gonna be able to finish him off. The cheese pop, plus the Maledict. They easily got him, but 40R was able to get him alive there. Costabile is able to threat a lot of these heroes. Happens and comes in and jump on the sniper. That's a big one. He can't save Super. They've got to be able to get him out of here, but it's just not going to happen. Costabile breaks in and to finish him off. Now turns against Inflame. If they can actually get this hard work with a tree, they take down the Aegis, at least that, and manage to deal with Fur. Inflame does manage to pick up a couple off of that, but they just don't have a buyback.
Liposa pops the buyback. He smells blood. He understands this is our moment, guys. Sniper is dead for quite some time without buyback. 70 seconds on the deck.
No exorcism, but the Arc Warden does plenty of damage.
He is going to push this so fast, and SG maybe about to pick up their first win.
They got to find a way to defend this, and perfect paralyzing cast into the Maledict may be a small window for them to get some damage on the SG. Hopefully be able to slow this one down. It looks like they're going to try and jump on a Liposa here, but he shrugs it off pretty easily with Guardian Greaves. It's not even close. LFY, they will have the Enchantress back up.
Still 40 seconds without your main hero.
Does SG go 2 here?
I think so. I think you have to gamble for it. It's going to be a while before you find another opportunity like that again without the sniper alive. 25 seconds, it should be enough time for them to go for it, especially without...
the gambling team, they're going to try for it. Monet makes his initiation on a Costabile, and the paralyzing cast back to him again. They managed to lock him down with the rod of Patos, if they can finish him off, this would be huge. A toss forward from the Enchantress, doesn't manage to land on top of him though. Costabile manages to big out, but they threw the underlord ulti. Fortunately, looks like he's just going to be able to keep out and be just fine. He actually got the Witch Doctor with his Tempest double. SG managed a successful retreat, but LFY managed to hold and keep it to just one lane of Rax's down.
Yeah, but because of the Pit Lord's commitment for the buyback and his ultimate, it's well worth it for them to at least try for that mid-set of Rax.
Yeah.
He's less tanky though than he's starting to realize. Like the sniper does still rip him apart. We're seeing in all these fights is, here we go, the sniper, look at that high ground position that he manages to take. This is what makes it look successful at first. But at that south end, you don't see it, but the Sand King, he's going to start getting ready for this as Theo. He's waiting out the BKB. He understands, just has to be patient for it. And look, here he goes.
Super pop into BKB for fear of the Sand King initiating on him. Cost him a lot, but you can understand why he was so scared of that situation with not the greatest vision.
Yeah, if he gets stunned one time, like he's dead anyways. Yeah. But Theo was very patient throughout that fight. He understood there was a lot of targets going in that didn't have BKB, but the one that mattered was find the sniper, isolate him out. If we can get the damage on him, he's got no buyback.
5-man smoke out, almost catching Monet. Spots him with the vision here. They're gonna jump forward and grab him, but Monet is able to shrug off disables pretty easily. Throws out his BKB, tosses Theo forward. But none of LFY are there to be able to pick up a kill off of that one, so that's just going to be a BKB on cooldown.
Very heads up play, by the way, for him to toss at the same time.
Yeah.
Still, same guideline exists for SG. Kill the sniper, take the high ground. Don't kill the sniper, things get dicey. Because even without the sniper, we notice like the fight still isn't 100% clean.
Yeah.
There's still a decent amount of burst damage from LFY. And going high ground is always tricky in Dota. Like, it's never a very clean, you get in, you get out for free sort of situation. But with the Pit Lord ult up, it looks like they are willing to commit for this. They know that Glyph is down too. If they can just get a little damage on this tower.
Taking so much damage, but they managed to get the Glimmer Cape, saving him from some of the Enchantress damage. And it looks like Monet blinked forward, but didn't manage to get a toss there onto the Death Prophet. So they're going to lose this tier 3. His initiation kind of failing, and SG takes that tier 3 and backs out pretty quickly.
Free attempt, and this time they didn't have to pop the Underlord ultimate, so they might just decide to go for it the next time around. They're going to use the rest of their Exorcism cooldown to just grab this Shrine, a little bit extra gold. Costabile with the Bloodless actually hits quite hard now.
It's looking like this is turning into War of Attrition, where SG are bit by bit going to take your objectives.
Yes.
How does LFY, how do they stop this?
They just gotta wait for a slip up. If they can grab this Pit Lord again.
For it?
Yeah, like in the previous position.
Okay.
Like there's still opportunities for you, and you have Sniper, so your high ground defense is still quite nice. SG doesn't have to take one set of racks, they've got to take 2. So you've got a few attempts at this, realistically speaking. And with buybacks available, you can hold this indefinitely.
Now, is LFY, this game pushing forward, is it just more opportunities that is being presented as time marches on, or do you think they're also going to get stronger against SG as they move forward later into the game?
I think Snipers are just such an incredibly strong high ground hero.
Okay.
Because of the range, right? You never have to be directly in the fights. You can just sit back.
So you think he outscales SG just a little bit?
I'm not sure about that. But the game is always complicated. Dota becomes a lot more random when one team has the high ground advantage, because you're funneling different heroes in. And if SG feels the need to go for plays like this, maybe they get a little bit too over eager, and that's where LFY's experience in the big stage allows them to pull on through.
Yeah. SG, though, they've been very careful, and I want to mention that buyback on the Underlord, right? This is one of the worst things you can do, is push into high ground and not have buyback, and all of a sudden that would present a big opportunity for LFY. So they've been pretty careful about approaching high ground at all.
I was perfectly fine with that buyback, by the way.
Yeah,
I think that decisive move is necessary.
The Sand King didn't buy back, and he did have buyback, and I think that was the one that would have been unnecessary. He held on to it. But the Underlord makes the big difference, right? Underlord is what allows you to be able to push for 2 because of gold.
Exactly, and he recognized that. He didn't ulti there, didn't get too overeager. He understood, like, but this time around...
Here comes 40R, already popping his exorcism and blinking forward. Scepter already being used onto that melee racks. Monet is trying to deal with some of these creeps. Costabile just pushing the ball back with the Tempest double. Of course, DDC's just being ripped apart, but it doesn't actually end up going down. Looks like Inflame went for the back line, forced to pop his BKB there. SG were not able to completely finish off a racks there. I think a glyph was used in that engagement. And now the oh no, they didn't. They still had glyph too. So they really just did not get a whole lot of exorcism damage on these buildings.
But still get paid for the attempt.
Monet tried to go, I think, for a toss on that Underlord TP out. That's the real dangerous situation SG got to be careful with. Oh god. Oh no, not Ahfu. Good.
It's still dangerous for them to go for the high ground, because if something like that does happen, like imagine, you know, the payload gets tossed back and then you've got 4 heroes stranded that think they're gonna evacuate the premises.
Yeah.
If they get caught out at that point, like, fight completely turns. But I think SG is comfortable on all sides of the game right now. Like, if it goes ultra late, they still have really good heroes. They can shove out the waves. It's not easy for them to get taken in the high ground fight either. And like, they get a free push over and over again until LFY found a way to deal with it.
Deep. He's sitting on the side now. That's just the Tempest double, but they do see the opportunity to go on the Night Stalker. Get the combo of stuns up on him. The BKB goes on, but a little bit too late. Physical damage is enough to finish him off. Now 40R managed to catch the sniper. They do have defensive force stats, but they also have dual scepters to continue to catch the sniper over and over. He pops BK. Now trying to run himself out of this one. Turns, fights, tries to finish off Theo. They manage to get him, but now he's being chased down by the Ghost Lady herself. Able to slow down multiple heroes. Now the side the fight on top of the sniper. They bring him down. He buys back immediately, but LFY going to have to fight this one down. 3 versus 5, now 2 versus 5. Tiny buys back as well. Sniper almost getting caught, forcing himself deeper and deeper into the base, trying to defend. SG will back up and get that lane of racks that they were promised after push after push. Ahfu getting caught here on the side. He's going to be sceptered up. Looks like he's also going to be going down. Now it's just the sniper and the Tiny to defend their final lane of racks. And SG are taking it so damn quickly, even as the exorcism fades. Costabile's damage was not here. Comes the epicenter moving forward, going for super, trying to catch it, but the GG's already called out. LFY, they know Doomsday is here. SG, they've taken game number 2 against LFY. This an even 2-game series.